Okay, now in this video we will try to introduce a new type of device which is called unijunction transistor. It is usually abbreviated as UJT. A unijunction transistor is a three-terminal semiconductor switching device. Switching device means it can be used as a switch when depending upon the applied voltage. During some part of the applied voltage it will be in the condition of turned off, and while reaching the criteria for switching on, the device become active or it is switched on. So unijunction transistor is a switching device and it is termed as a transistor since it has three terminals. Remember that even though it is having a three terminals, there is only a single PN junction is there in the case of a unijunction transistor. This device has a unique characteristic that when it is triggered, the emitter current increases regeneratively until it is limited by the emitter power supply. So that is the unique characteristic of this device. When it is triggered, that is it is switched on, the emitter current increases regeneratively and it is limited by the emitter power supply. Due to this characteristic, the unijunction transistor can be employed in a variety of applications like switching, pulse generation, sawtooth generation, bistable networks, etc. So here this figure on the left represents the basic structure of a unijunction transistor. It actually consisting of an N-type silicon bar with an electrical connection on each end. So this is an N-type silicon bar with two terminals or two electrical connections on each end. One is the least layers to these connections are called base layers. Here it is called base 1 B1 and it is called base 2 B2. This is B2 and this is B1. Partway along the bar between these two bases, near to B2 than B1, you can see a PN junction is formed between a P-type emitter and the bar. Here you can see a P-type emitter. So a UJT consisting of an N-type semiconductor bar with two terminals on two ends. They are named as base 1 and base 2, B1 and B2. And partway along this semiconductor bar near to B2 than B1, there is a P region which is called the emitter. In between this emitter and base region there forms a PN junction. So the PN junction is formed here and this terminal is called emitter lead E. So a unijunction transistor has three leads, the base 1 B1, the base 2 B2 and the emitter lead represented by E. So it has three terminals, so it is a three-terminal semiconductor device, but it has only a single PN junction. Since this device has one PN junction and three leads, it is commonly called a unijunction transistor. Uni means single, so it is a single junction transistor. With only one PN junction, the device is really a form of diode. So important thing is that only one PN junction The another thing is that it has three terminals or LEDs: base 1 B1, base 2 B2, and the emitter LED, that is E. Because the two base terminals are taken from one section of the diode, this device is also called a double based diode. So unijunction transistor is otherwise called a double based diode, because here we can have two regions P and N. The N is the base and P is the emitter, and these two terminals are taken from the same base. This is called a double base diode. And when we are considering the doping concentration, the emitter E is heavily doped, and compared to when we are considering the base terminals B1 and B2, they are very lightly doped. And for this reason the resistance between the two base terminals B1 and B2 is very high, because the charge carrier concentration of the charge carriers are very small, since they are lightly doped, so they offer very high resistance. So if you consider this base region of this UJT, they are lightly doped, so the carrier concentration of the charge carriers in this end region or the base is very less. So this base terminals, that is B1 B2 terminals, offers very high resistance, approximately 5 to 10 kilo ohms of resistance when this emitter terminal is open. That means when you apply proper voltage to this emitter terminal, the channel will have a small resistance, or there will be a current flow through this channel. But when the emitter circuit is open, this channel B1 B2 offers very high resistance, and you can see in the coming discussions how this resistance of this B1 B2 terminal has been reduced by applying the emitter voltage, so that will be clear when we are discussing the operation of the unijunction transistor. So in introduction to this unijunction transistor, what you have to remember is that in a unijunction transistor, even though it has three terminals, there is only one PN junction. Here the two terminals are taken from the N-type bar, which forms the base of the transistor, and these two terminals are named as base 1 and base 2. And in order to form a PN junction, a P-type material is introduced into the bar near to the base terminal 2, and there forms the PN junction, and the P-type material is called the emitter, and the terminal is called the emitter terminal. Now come to this symbol of the UJT. Here you can see that a straight bar which represents the channel, and from this channel two terminals are taken, that is B1 and B2. In between these B1 and B2 there forms an emitter region. So since this emitter region is a P region, the current is flowing into this circuit or into the transistor. So the arrow is represented towards the or inside the transistor or towards the junction. So this one represents this symbol represents the unijunction transistor. Now let's see the working of a UJT. So to discuss the working of an UJT, let's consider this UJT with three terminals, the base B1 and B2 and the emitter E. First of all, we are considering the emitter E is open as shown in this first diagram. Here the emitter, across the emitter junction no voltage is applied, and across the two base terminals B1 and B2 a voltage VBB is connected with B2 as positive and B1 as negative. So here the polarity is plus and here the polarity is minus, and there is no voltage across the emitter terminal. So now if the voltage VBB is applied between this B2 and B1 with emitter open, a voltage gradient is established along the N-type bar. Here it is positive and here it is negative, so there is a voltage gradient along this bar from B2 to B1 with a B2 as positive and B1 as negative. Since the emitter is located near to B2, more than half of the VBB appears between the emitter terminal and B1. So if you consider there's a emitter terminal, position of the emitter terminal, so more than the applied half of the applied voltage VBB will be appears across this emitter terminal and base B1, which is represented by V1 in this diagram. So here it is plus and here it is negative minus, so it is V1. Since the voltage V1 between this emitter and B1 establishes a reverse bias on the PN junction, because here this is the PN junction, actually here you can see there is a PN junction, here it is P and here it is N, and here there is no voltage applied to the P because it is the emitter is open, so here it is actually 0 volt, and N region is here. If you consider this N region, that is positive with respect to B1. If you consider the terminal B1 is negative and N is positive, or this position is positive, so this PN junction is reverse biased because the N region is positive with respect to the P region, so it is a reverse bias, or the PN junction here it is reverse bias, that is this junction is reverse biased, and there is no, since it is reverse biased, there is no emitter current, or the emitter current is cut off. I can call it as IE is equal to 0. But remember, of course, there is a small leakage current flows from B2 to the emitter due to minority carriers. So there is a small leakage current will be there, that you can see while discussing the characteristics of UJT. So leakage current will be there, but we can say that the emitter current is 0 since this V1 reverse biases the PN junction. Now in this diagram, second diagram, we can see that we are applying a voltage VE to the emitter with emitter is positive with respect to the B1, so here this B2 and here it is B1, this B1 is negative, B2 is positive, and here P is positive. So if a positive voltage is applied at the emitter, the PN junction will remain reverse biased so long as the input voltage is less than V1. The voltage which appears across this emitter terminal and V1, we are denoting it as V1. It is plus and minus. This PN junction will be reverse biased until the voltage applied here, that is VE, is less than the voltage V1. If the input voltage to the emitter VE exceeds the voltage V1, the PN junction become forward biased. Under these conditions, more holes are injected from the P-type material into the N-type bar. That is, holes will be injected from this P-type material to the N-type bar. These holes are repelled by this positive terminal of the B2 and they are attracted towards the negative terminal of the B1 or towards the base B1. This accumulation of holes in the emitter B1 region results in the decrease of resistance in this section of the bar. That means when we apply a voltage VE which is greater than V1, this PN junction becomes forward biased, so that when it becomes forward biased, the holes from this P region will be injected to the N-type bar. So here we can see large number of holes are injected from this P to this N-type bar. Since this end is positive and this end is negative, these holes are repelled by the B2 and are attracted towards the B1, and the holes will flow from this higher from the emitter region to the base B1, which will decrease the resistance of this bar or at this section of this bar, that is between the emitter and B1, which will constitute a very high emitter current IE to flow through the entire bar from the emitter region to the base B1. As more holes are injected, a condition of saturation will eventually be reached. At this point, the emitter current is limited by the emitter power supply only. Now the device is on. So that is the working of a UJT. That is, when the applied voltage VE is greater than the voltage which we appear across those emitter V1 terminals, that is V1, there will be a decrease in the resistance of the section of the N-type bar from the emitter region to B1, and there will be a current flow from this emitter region to the B1 base B1 of the bar through the section of emitter base region or section of this bar, N-type bar. So there will be a current flow, and this current flow is actually limited by the applied voltage VE. So now the circuit is, or the UJT is said to be in the on state. All other cases the circuit will be in the off state. So that's why it can be used for, it is a switch, it is called as a switching device. Now to study the more about the UJT and characteristics of UJT, we have to consider the equivalent circuit of a UJT that we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.